Head. I'm coming to you for our second, I call it garden tour. I don't know why I call it garden tour. It's a tomato tour. I'm a tomato head. I do grow other things, but they're very much afterthoughts. So if it's your first time watching, hello. I live in rural New Jersey here in Zone 6B out in Hunterdon County, New Jersey. I love growing tomatoes. My husband and I, he's the Mr. Tomato Head. His name is Rob. We've grown for almost 30 years here in our little piece of heaven that we love so much. We've missed a couple of years here and there. I shared last week when we were having babies, and I live with chronic pain and illness, so there's been some years where I haven't been able to. But for the most part, I've been gardening tomatoes primarily for 30 years. And I heard a friend of mine, Cheryl, I don't know if you're watching, and if you are watching, please feel free to say hi where you're watching from. But I think I heard, Cheryl, I think I read you say that you have had a brown thumb up until recently. I'm kind of the same way, except for tomatoes. Tomatoes I've been doing, because I love them so much, I guess I put time into it. But other than tomatoes, I really had no interest in other gardening. Even with 30 years experience, I am still learning. It is always a learning process, which you will see when we go outside. Hey, Deb, thanks for watching, my friend, one of my fellow tomato heads. If you're watching live, thank you. Hopefully we have better Wi-Fi than we did last week. And I'm going to say this out loud here, and Deb, you're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm going to stick to 60 minutes today. No 90 minutes, although a lot of people watched it, which is great. So anyway, if you're watching live, thank you. And if you're watching the recording, welcome. My channel is very much like me, which is a hot mess who tries really hard. You're not going to see these, not a chance, Deb. Haha, not a chance, Deb says in the chat. We will see about that. It's tough when I get talking about tomatoes, and Jen Joy, who I'll get to in a minute, she watched the playback of last week and she's like, man, you can talk tomatoes. And I'm like, I know, it's like, squirrel, you get me sidetracked. I can talk about every variety, whether I've grown it yet or not, for a long time. So I'm going to try to stay focused today. Last week we got to just about half of my garden. And look, it is not this huge garden. It's just that I talk about tomatoes too much. But we are growing, I think with micro dwarfs, about 250 varieties, about 120 regular indeterminates and dwarfs, and then another 120 or so of micro dwarfs. If you're new to the channel, you may not know that I'm doing a micro dwarf project, which I took on in January of this year, which is 2023, where I said I'm going to grow all the varieties of micro dwarf tomatoes and take notes and save seeds and take pictures and all of that, because I just didn't think there were that many varieties. Well, joke's on me, because there are, and I'm still accumulating them. It's been a ton of fun. I'm not going to do micro dwarfs today. I'm going to do a separate tour for that, because that will take a whole other hour. And they deserve another hour. They've been fun, and I want to showcase them in all their glory today. I'm starting inside for a couple of reasons. One is, I just mentioned Jen Joy. If you follow her wonderful tomato channel, Jen Joy, she and I have become very good friends, and we did our very first live tomato talk this past Friday, which was, what was the date? The 14th, I believe, July 14th. We did it Friday. It was from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was so much fun. If you tuned in for that, thank you for being a part of it. We were encouraged to do it weekly. We were going to do it monthly. We were encouraged to do it weekly. We had a blast. We could talk for hours and hours, and we were able to bring all of you into the conversation by putting your comments, or many of your comments, on screen. We do have another one scheduled. We're not waiting another month. For now, it is July 28th, so not this coming Friday, but a week from Friday, July 28th, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I'll put a promo out for that soon. But I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I encourage you. You can watch it right here on my channel, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head, or Jen Joy's channel, which is Jen Joy. Also, before I go outside in the heat, I want to tell you about a new group that I've just started as of yesterday. So if you are a tomato head like me and you like collecting tomato seeds for growing, not just collecting, but for growing, and perhaps you're looking for new, unique varieties and you're having trouble sourcing them, I just started this group. I had to print this because I keep forgetting the name of it, but I think it's pretty appropriate. Tomato Lovers Seed Sourcing Collective and Swap. So my hope with this group is to bring together vendors, tomato breeders, and collectors, growers, everybody who wants to not only find varieties yourself, but also to help others find them. We already have a great vendor list that's popped up just from the members that we've gotten. I think we're up to 70 members already just from yesterday, and with very little promotion on my end. So if you'd like to join, I did put it in the description. There's a link in the description of these show notes here. So it's the, again, Tomato Lovers Seed Sourcing Collective and Swap. Even if you're not a seasoned tomato grower and you'd like to find out where to buy seeds and where others have had good luck buying them, you want to talk to other vendors, please join us. I haven't found anything else like it out there, so I wanted to start that group. Wanted to show you one other thing before we go outside, and it's kind of funny. So while it is July, and you're going to see there's a lot of green tomatoes on my plant, and we've had very few slicers. We've had a number of them, and enough where we've definitely gotten our taste. I'm way behind on reviews, but you'll see a lot of green out there. So things are really starting to kick up, like within the next week or two, which you will see. You'll see a couple things starting to blush. But I want to show you we've had enough going on where I've been able to taste, and seed saving has started. So these are some of my varieties of tomato seeds that are drying. Kids are gone, so nobody's been using this pool table for a while. So those are some of the varieties and micro dwarfs that are drying out here, and that's just one location. I've got the guest bedroom is taken by those two, so I wanted to show you guys that. All right, let's venture out in the heat because it's already 7 minutes into it and we haven't gotten to garden. So let me get my glasses here. I'm going to stay on track. So today we're going to go to, last week I did a tour of our in-ground beds, and in-ground bed, I should say, one bed, which has been there for many years. And then I did these dwarfs and some indeterminates that are in front of the deck. I think I got them all. I don't know. It's kind of a big blur. It was a lot of fun. Today we're going to go to Rob built 2 new raised beds for us this year that I am in love with. He's like, maybe I can build 2 new raised beds. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. And then he said, I think we can fit 16 varieties in each one. And I'm like, let's do it. So we've got 32 varieties here. They are, we've got a little bit of disease going on. We've had some rain, and July, this can happen with some of the bottom leaves. Some of the water splashes up, gets on the bottom leaves, it passes on to other tomatoes. But all in all, these look great. I mentioned last week, we filled these beds with a local garden center, had a mushroom compost, not filtered topsoil, I always forget the term, but maybe it's filtered topsoil and mushroom compost mix they call John Adams mix. And oh my gosh, these plants just love it. They have exploded, absolutely exploded. Now, the beds I showed you last week, we are doing our best to single stem, which we've always done. These beds, we just have not been able to keep up with it. So they're a bit of a hot mess, but we're gonna try to go through them. Let's do this thing. All right, so, and by the way, this is my first year growing flowers too, believe it or not. I've always been like, flowers, schmowers, you can't eat them, who cares? I'm growing flowers, I started growing flowers for the pure sake of having pollinators to come to my tomatoes. But I will admit, I've fallen head over heels in love with zinnias. So I've got some really pretty zinnias, some of them from trades from you guys. All right, let's get to it. Zinnia, all right, pretty zinnia. I forget which one that is. And we're getting some Japanese beetle damage. They're not touching the flowers really, but they're getting the leaves. All right, this one was our earliest ripening variety. It's called Juan Flem, Gauneflamme. I wasn't sure what to think of this variety at first, to be honest with you. It's a large cherry, very large cherry. There's one kind of blushing in there. And I did a review in the Tomato Obsession group. I think I first gave it a 6. It's very tart, it's very citrusy. You bite into it and you pucker, but then your mouth is rewarded with all these amazing flavors. So I've upped my review to a 7. We've been really enjoying that. Would make an awesome, awesome salsa. This next one, which is being overtaken by, oh shoot, dead zinnia. They get so big. I had no idea these things, and then they really need to be staked. All right, this is soldaki, which we thought we were growing last year. Thought is the operative word. I got seeds from, I guess it wasn't a reputable place on Etsy, and there are some good reputable places on Etsy. This one was not. And I found out about this variety through James Prigioni from the Gardening Channel. I don't know if, you know, shout out to James and Tuck if you guys watch that channel. He loves soldaki. So we grew it, and it was clearly not soldaki. It was just some really lame, small, red beefsteak that may as well have been something like you get at the grocery store in the winter. I mean, maybe not that bad, but it was lame. So we wanted to grow it this year, and we had, I keep mentioning the unseasonably late frost we had on May 18th. This one took a hit, so it's a little behind some of the others. We do have tomatoes, definitely lots of tomatoes, but they are small compared to most. But that is okay. That is absolutely okay. So I'm trying to think what we had intended to do is we did 2 rows, walkway, haha, and then 2 rows. Well, the walkway, especially in the other garden I'll show you, is not much of a walkway. Yeah, let me do the out. No, I'll do the inside. Okay, the inside plants are the ones that seem to be getting the most kind of disease issues, I think, because they're just so crowded. All right, this one, most of these are new to us, by the way. Just about all of them. This one's called Captain Lucky. We have not had a ripe one, but holy schmoly, look at the size of that thing. And if you guys have grown any of these varieties before and want to give me your thoughts, please put it in the comments. Yeah, that's a big one. We've got a lot of big ones this year. And you would think with, look at me, I'm like in the forest. You would think with letting them bush out versus single stem, they wouldn't get so big, but we're not finding that to be true. I mean, maybe they would get bigger, but I think they really love this mushroom compost, and some of them are getting super big. So that's Captain Lucky, and to be honest with you, I forget what it looks like. This is the first year I can't tell you like what's growing where exactly, like I'm getting better, or what it looks like without resorting to looking at my spreadsheet, which is a work of art, I will tell you. So that's Captain Lucky. Next one, we did try the other night. This one's a green cherry called Green Doctors, and it's swimming in fruit. And I'm finding lots and lots of trusses of fruit. And I love green when ripe. Anybody that knows me, if you follow me at all, you know that my favorite variety is Malachita Vyashkatulka or Malachite Box. I love green when ripe. We're growing a lot of green when ripe varieties this year. And this one it's a little hard to tell when they're ripe. You have to give it the good old squeeze. That one's a little ripe, but honestly, it just didn't do much for Rob and I. It was okay. I think we gave it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't any great flavor, which is disappointing, but certainly it wasn't a bad tomato. We've had bad tomatoes. That was not a bad tomato, so a little unfortunate. All right, so that's Green Doctors. What else do we have here in the jungle? Did we hit? No, we'll do this side first. Okay, so we got Green Doctors. I'm like a crazy person here. What is this? Oh, Cosmic Eclipse. Cosmic Eclipse. This has a lot of fruit set down here. Nothing ripe yet. Oops. Uh-oh. Did I lose connection? It said connection lost. Hopefully that was just for a minute. If you guys can still hear me, give me a comment. Looks like I'm still rolling. I'm just going to pretend I'm still rolling. Yeah, okay, gonna pretend I'm still rolling. Nothing ripe yet, but the low-hanging fruit. Oh, thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. We've got lots of fruit in there. And Rob had to lift it up with like, he used this gardening Velcro straps, which I find little remnants of everywhere. I call it his breadcrumbs. He leaves breadcrumbs for me everywhere. So nothing ripe on Cosmic Eclipse yet. I think that might be a Brad Gates variety, but I'm not positive. This one's interesting. Nothing ripe yet. This one is from Delectation of Tomatoes. It's Green Zebra and P20. And let me show you what the fruit means, or what the fruit looks like first, and then I'll get into what the heck this tomato is. So it's not green zebra, it's green zebra. And am I even showing the tomato? Let me see, get back here. All right, lots of tomatoes on it. So it looked really, oh no, it wasn't from Delectation of Tomatoes. I'm sorry, this was from Bad Skin's Garden. And on the website, it looked like this really cool kind of greenish red striped variety. I didn't know what P20 meant. Did I put it in my pocket? No, I left it inside. Okay, so I found out what P20 meant when I was looking at it this morning. And it is OSU, or I believe it's Ohio State University P20, otherwise known as OSU Blue. Now, I could be wrong about all of this, but that's the research that I found when I was looking it up this morning. And when I found that out, I was very bummed out because we grew OSU Blue maybe about 5 years ago. Hated it. It was a blue cherry. I'm just not huge into, I like a little antho, but I'm not huge into all antho. And we grew that and dancing with the Smurfs the same year, which basically should have been the same tomato, same thing. So they're good roasted is all I'll say. So anyway, I meant to get the seed packet, but on tomato Badskin's Garden thing, it looked like a red tomato. And then I was doing a little bit more research, and this website called tomatogalaxy.net, when you look up green zebra and P20, they actually have a variety. It's probably going to be hard to see that. It's more of a green, and it's called Albo Green. It says recent variety crossing OSU P20 and green zebra. So I don't know what we're going to get, but it'll be exciting. Sometimes it's fun not knowing. And we do have several varieties that are not what they're supposed to be. So they're going to be mysteries. And we shall see some of those in a minute. All right, so that's green zebra P20. So we will see what we get. Nothing ripe yet, but it's kind of exciting. Even if it's just green zebra crossed with that tomato OSU blue that we didn't like, you know, sometimes, you know, the bad crossed with the good. I mean, it must be good, right? I don't know. We'll see. All right, so this is one, oh, this is an exciting one. This is, oops, not me. Here we go. Kazula. One of my very first Kazula, and I'm growing Kazula 24. And this has tons and tons of, all do for the most part. We're going to be gifted. All right, looks like we're a go again. Sorry. Oh, gang, I'm having a lot of connection trouble. I'm going to keep trying this, but if it continues, I don't want to put you through the torture, and I will go and I will film a garden tour if it continues, because, you know, it seems like the further I get from the house, the worse it is. So keep trying for a couple minutes, and then I'll record a rest of a garden tour. Let's try this again. So this next one is one that's supposed to be a variety called Lake. But it's supposed to be a beefsteak, and it's not a beefsteak. Lots of fruit on it. I don't know what we're going to get, but maybe it's good. You know, maybe it's good. Unfortunate, I'm really bummed out. I was looking forward to that variety, but you know, these things happen. So that is Lavender Lake. Next we have another beefsteak variety called Lila Sari. Another new one to us. Nice big fruit. This one looks, I know it's like a reddish, I don't know, the description looked good, really good, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be growing it. Excited for that. This next one, holy smokes. This one I grew, my mom's name is Sandy. And there's a new variety, like really new within the past couple of years, called Sandra's Smile. Otherwise known as like Sandra Schmiel in another language, I forget. It looks similar to like a Thorburns terracotta or something in the pictures. You've got to see, now this is a cat-faced one. It's not actually one tomato, but it's a really crazy cat-faced one. Look at that. Look at that. I should probably take it off and like just call it a day, but sometimes you never know with the cat-faced ones if you're actually going to get an edible one. Here are our regular ones though. We've got some nice size, really nice size regular ones and lots up there too. So that's Sandra's Smile. Verdict's out on that. What do we have here? Here we have Spring Noir. This one I know looks very similar to our tomato, Bananas Noir, which is why I chose it. I know it's an Ananas Noir cross. Nothing ripe from it yet. Looks like nice saladette size tomatoes. Again, similar to Bananas Noir, so we will see on that one. I forget where I got the seeds for that one. This one is a dwarf. It's our only dwarf in the in-ground beds, called Adelaide Festival. Look at this. Holy schmoly. Look at all the fruit on Adelaide Festival. And more up here, small little guys. Wow. We haven't had any dwarfs that have produced like that, but then again, we are putting them in grow bags, so maybe that makes a difference. So that is Dwarf Adelaide Festival. Look at the pretty zinnias. So, so beautiful. I love them. Okay, what's this next one? German Johnson came highly recommended from my friend Malachite Jen, I call her. She highly recommends it. She sent me some seeds, and we've got some crazy cat-faced one here, but we've got some nice sized tomatoes on there. If you see kind of the bottom foliage looking a little, a little thin, that's because they've been thinned to help prevent disease, or there's been disease on it. This one is Homer Fikes Yellow Oxheart. We don't do a lot of oxhearts in general. We're doing Curtis Cheek this year, which I talked about last week, and I picked our first one the other day. It's ripening on the counter, but they are starting to blush. But look at the size. Look at this one. Woo, nice. This seedling looked like it was dead. I mean, deader than dead. And I'm starting to realize that oxhearts just kind of do, because Curtis Cheek did too. I really was going to put it in compost, and all of a sudden it came to life. We stuck it in the bed, and boom, now we're going to have some really nice yellow tomatoes. And yellows are not generally my favorite. I've mentioned that before. I like a little acid to my tomatoes. I don't like completely acidic, but I like a little bit of balance. And generally yellows are not acid, or not a lot of acidity, but Rob likes them for sandwiches, so we shall see. I'm keeping an open mind. All right, what else we got in this bed here? We've got, oh, this one, I keep forgetting we're growing this one. This one's called Stump of the World. And I believe it's just your standard red tomato, but it's supposed to be fantastic flavor. How do I keep forgetting we're growing this? I don't know, but as you can see, we're getting some really big sized tomatoes. So, so fortunate. All right, this last one, she says with a sigh, is called Raspberry Liana. We've already had a ripe one. To be honest with you, I grew this one because I knew it was an early ripening variety and I wanted some early ripening ones. And it was, well, our first one was, and then this got affected by the frost too. So now we're waiting for more to ripen. It was really just okay. I forget what we rated it. It wasn't bad. It just didn't have much flavor. It's just a small red tomato. It'll be good for salsas and sauces and all that stuff. But, I like loud flavor for sure. Next year, even though it's not like the best, like one of my top 10 favorite for flavor of all time, I'm definitely growing the Juan Flem again. Rob agrees. Early and really tasty for an early tomato. All right, that's bed one. How am I doing? 25 minutes, pretty good. Hopefully the internet quality is not super terrible and that you guys are hanging in there with me. Um, all right, what do we have here? So bed number two. All right, I'm gonna start, yeah, let me start here. More pretty zinnias. This one is African Queen. Woo, look at that baby. Another cat-faced one. I can't even see the other side of it. Massive, massive. I forget where I got the seeds for this one. Lots of fruit we're getting. I hear it's supposed to be fantastic. If you guys have grown it, let me know. This man, ooh, man, that's huge. That is huge. I'll have to, before, if I have time before the time's up, I'll have to take you over and show you the update for Rob's. He's hoping to grow a 2-pounder this year, and I showed his big Zach last week. I'll have to show you the progress this week. It's still a contender, but there's others that could be too. Who knows? So all right, so that is African Queen. Let's go into, this is the jungle that's really hard to get through. After some pruning, I'm able to get through it a little better, but yeah, we'll go through here. All right, what do we have here? This is Plan 9 from outer space. Nothing ripe yet. Oops. Nothing ripe. Big tomatoes. Big, big tomatoes. Excited for this one. If you've grown it, let us know. This one is, now you guys have heard me mention Jarson 18 because I can't shut up about Jarson 18. This is, oh, you're growing it too, Deb? Good. Me too. Deb says she's excited for Plan 9. Me too. Super excited for it. It looks great. It's absolutely great. So Jarson 18 is a cross of our Malachite box and Copia, which I'm going to show you in a minute. This one is Jarson 1. Jarson is another Polish breeder who I've just found out about within the last couple months, and now I'm obsessed with finding all the Jarsons. Hence my group, Tomato Lovers, Seed Collective, whatever I said before. You can find the name in the show notes. So this is Jarson 1. Look at the fruit set on this. This is I think it's another green one ripe. Looks fantastic. So much fruit on it. Are we stuck? Hello? You still there? Plant obsesses. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, I keep touching my screen and doing bad things. I should never touch my screen. Okay, look at the fruit set on Jarson 1. Just crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right, we tried to plant some bean plants in here. That was not the best move. And we've got some pepper plants too, but they're reaching for the sun, and some basil. Live and learn. This is Karma Miracle, and we did pull our first ripe ones off just yesterday, I think. Looks like there's one blushing here. Lots of fruit on Karma Miracle. Excited to try that. I hear good things about it. This one is, oh, I'm excited for this one. This is Zebra Ezel, E-Z-E-L. Again, big, big fruit. This is Sean from Bounty Hunter Seeds. That's where I got seeds. And he says, I forget if he says it's his favorite all-time tomato, but pretty close. And you can see just how many tomatoes are on this guy. We've got a lot of eating to do. Little disease issues down at the bottom just because everything was so overcrowded. But yeah, lots of fruit on Zebra Ezel. And then finally here in, oh, now I'm losing my glasses. This is good. Get me out of the jungle. Okay, we're getting out. Let's crawl out. All right, so in this row we've got Cosmonaut Volkov Red, which I think is just your standard red tomato, but it's supposed to taste really good. As you can see, lots of fruit to come in Cosmonaut Volkov Red. Anybody grow this? I've seen a lot of people in Tomato Obsession talking about it. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Okay, this one is, I keep forgetting about this one too, and I don't know how because she's right on the end. Georgia Streak. which I think is a bicolor, yellow-orange. Decent amount of fruit on it, not swimming like some of the others, but we've got some big guys. Another one up here. Excited for that. All right, moving right along. This front row is like, you know, you hate to play teacher's pet with your tomatoes, but kind of do. The front row is sort of like my faves or most excited about. I'll show you why in a minute. So this first one, well, first of all, I got some here. This is Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye, which is our #2 favorite. It's a Brad Gates bred tomato. We've got a lot. It's so hard if you can see with the camera, but 2 runs from this already. Just a perfect tomato. It's early, it's gorgeous, it tastes great, great balance. Love, love, love Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye. #1 favorite, I'm going to skip one here and I'll tell you why in a minute. This is our #1 favorite. The one I can't stop talking about, Malachite Box, or Malachitova Shkatulka. I think we're going to be okay as far as fruit for this one. It's hard to see inside there, but we've got lots of there, so many fruit. That's a green when ripe. It's delicious. We discovered it 2 years ago. We do a blind taste test of our favorites every single year, and we both have the same taste, but we both have picked Malachite #1, Berkeley #2. So then a couple months ago, I find out, hey, Blaine Horton crossed Malachite Box and Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye. What? Yes, he did. It's called Uptown Funk. And if you were watching our tomato on Friday night, I tasted it live. I tasted our first one live. I was really, you know, curious. Will do 2 positives equal a better positive? Do they kind of make a negative? It's actually also crossed with indigo rose. I don't know how you cross 3 tomatoes, unless it's maybe a mistake. I don't know. All I know is, you know, expectations were high. And this thing was freaking delicious. Like, I give it a 9, solid 9. And we don't give 9s ever. Malachite's our only #10. You know, maybe Berkeley too. Rob actually said, I saved the other half for Rob. He said he may even like it better than Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye. So that's Uptown Funk, gang. I would run, not walk to get seeds for that. And if you want to find out where, if you can't find them, you can certainly join the new Facebook group, the Tomato Lover Collectors something. It's in the show notes. Cooperative, I don't know, something like that. So we had 2 plants. One was in a grow bag, a 10-gallon grow bag, thankfully, and one was here sandwiched in between. Let's turn around. Here we go. Berkeley and Malachite. It was this one. And everything was fine in the frost except for this one. But as you can see, it has come back, well, comes back with a vengeance. Thankfully, the cold, or it wasn't even a hard frost, but it was 30-degree temperatures for like 4 or 5 hours. I think if it had lasted longer, the few plants that were affected wouldn't have come back. But don't give up. I mean, this thing looked deader than dead. And in one of my future videos I'm going to share, I took a photo progression of this plant as it was coming back to life. I didn't really even do much, but it was black sticks. So don't give up. So that's Uptown Funk. The other in the favorites row is Jarson 18. I mentioned Jarson before, Jarson 1. Jarson 18 is a cross between Malachite Box and Copia, which we're growing in the in-ground bed. It's another green when ripe, and people over in Eastern Europe who have grown this say that it's better than Malachite Box. I'll be the judge of that. So I had to obtain seeds, which I did. And we've got 2 plants. We've got one here in the ground and one in the grow bag, which I showed you guys last week. It's doing really, really well. Big fruits, big fruits. Nothing ripe yet, but look at the size of this bad boy. Yes! So we're gonna have like some really big Greenman ripe taste-offs for sure. Um, so that's Jarson 18. Did I really just get through? No, there's one more. All right, but I got through 2 beds in a decent amount of time. That's good. All right, so this is another one that's not what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be Renegade, which is a malachite cross. All I know is it's supposed to be a cross between malachite and a disease-resistant variety, which I actually kind of find funny now that I'm saying this out loud, because this one's been affected by disease, but it's not Renegade. It's clear because it's supposed to be a beefsteak, and it's clearly not a beefsteak. It looks like it's going to be some kind of a saladette, maybe large cherry. I don't know. Don't know. Hopefully it's good. Disappointing when you don't get what you want it to be. And then I mentioned in our tomato talk last week, like my quandary is, and we've got another one, Dark Queen, which I'm going to show you over in the other beds. My quandary is, what if you love it? What if you love this variety that's not what it's supposed to be? You save seeds, of course, but then what do you call it? Do you give it a new name? Or was there a seed mix-up where you purchased the seeds from, and is it really another variety? If you've got suggestions, gang, I'd love to hear them in the comments. I don't know. Thankfully, Dark Queen didn't blow our mind. So, I mean, it's really pretty. It's very tasty. Then you get to name it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I hate to name it when it's really something else. I don't know. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Dark Queen did not blow our minds. Super pretty, but yeah, didn't blow my mind enough. I thought it was going to, actually, because it looks very much like a tomato we would love. No, I didn't get to this whole bed. Silly me. I forgot the Cherokee row. So there's the favorites row, and then there's the Cherokee row. This is, yeah, I got Cosmonaut Volkov red. This is the Cherokee row. And we've got Cherokee lime stripes, good old Cherokee purple, Cherokee purple bicolor, which I showed you guys last week, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, and then Cherokee green. So Cherokee lime stripes was a teeny tiny little guy when we planted in late May, and we've got some really nice looking fruits coming on this. Lots of them. Look at Cherokee purple. Unbelievable. Not only how many, I mean, I think I counted 37. I counted right before I went live. 37, like on an heirloom variety. Where did I get seeds? They're mine. I saved the seeds, and these are mine from last year. Holy schmoly. Normally we pick with first blush, which is why you don't see a lot of blush, but we were picking last night, and Rob said, you know, you should save this for your tour tomorrow, and I agreed. So we've got some beautiful Cherokee purples. I mean, you just can't go wrong with Cherokee purple. It's our solid number 4. My big surprises, Plant Obsessives, my big surprises this year are not awesome, so I won't want to name them. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping to, honestly. I mean, you hate for it to take up valuable garden space, valuable real estate, but then, yeah, I don't want to worry about naming them either. We have had a few accidental crosses, which we've named our Bananas Noir, which is a great one, and then some cherries, which we're working on. But yeah, this is just outstanding. Super excited. This is our solid number 4, so it's Malachite Box, Berkeley Pink Tie-Dye, Bananas Noir, our variety, and then Cherokee Purple. We'll always have a spot in our garden. Just outstanding. All right, this guy I mentioned last week, I got from Delectation of Tomatoes. He calls it 2 different things. Cherokee Purple Off Type is on, I think on the website, or maybe, no, it's on the seed packet, it's Cherokee Purple Off Type. On the website, it's Cherokee Purple Bicolor. It's a Cherokee Purple, but it had a mutation. It's this great big giant yellowish orange. And thankfully, we've got a bed over, a grow bag over in our in-ground beds that has a couple fruit on it. This one, however, not only does it not have fruit on it, this thing doesn't have a single flower on it, even after a week. I know I told you guys this last week. Still a week. Can't find a flower, nothing. It's so weird. Healthy plant, whatever. So we actually took a sucker and rooted it in a grow bag. So because I really want to try it. If you look up online on delectation of tomatoes, this thing, it says it's similar to Georgia streak. It's this massive yellow-orange bicolor. I want to see if it tastes like Cherokee purple. Very curious. So I don't know what's up with that plant, but thankfully we've got the backup. We've got the backup to the backup. And then this is Cherokee green. We've had one, we have a lot of fruit on this too. We've had one ripe one so far and it was pretty good. You know, I measure everything to malachite box, so it's, you know, it was very good green. Nothing to complain about for sure. So there we are with the beds. And so I'm going to take you over to the last spot. Maybe we can knock this out without the micros. Maybe we can knock this out before our time is up. So that's the remainder of our mushroom compost topsoil. And I'm glad we still have it because we just got a new bed. My parents got us a Vigo bed. I have a birthday coming up and Amazon Prime Day was calling. My mom's like, what do you want? I'm like, don't get me anything. She insists. So I saw Vigo beds had a really good sale. So we're getting a Vigo bed that we're going to add to, we've got potatoes down in our birdies beds way down there. We're going to add a Vigo bed, and I think I've got some starts for a second round of zucchini and melon and stuff. So over here, some of these I call our garage tomatoes. Why I call them that, I've talked about this before in other videos, but the ones in the back row, the bigger ones, the ones that are not dwarfs, they were growing really, really big when they were at the seedling stage, and we didn't know what to do with them. They were too big for the seedling grow bags. So we decided, Rob had the idea, put them in our 10-gallon grow bags, and we'll just bring them out during the day when it's warm and bring them in the garage at night. So we call them our garage tomatoes, and it's gifted us with some really nice early tomatoes. But we have some casualties going on here, and I'm not exactly sure why. So let's go. And then I put some dwarfs in the front. Over here is our grow bag, our garage Uptown Funk. And as you can see, we've got some funky looking Uptown Funks here. Got some blushing going on here. Oh, how I love you, Uptown Funk. You are a new favorite. Absolutely. This is dwarf, a very late edition, dwarf mahogany, which I've heard great things about. Nothing ripe yet because I planted it really late, but excited for that. This one is dwarf Andes 40, which has, what does it have on it? Not too many tomatoes, a couple little tomatoes. Hear good things about that too. This one we've had many tomatoes from, dwarf Bundaberg Rumble. And it's a decent tomato. As you can see, they're small-ish. They've got a really, it's kind of on its way up. They've got a really unique shape, and the plant was really interesting too. Was droopy, but cutting off some bottom leaves due to disease. So that's the way. But we've had a lot of fruit from that. Back here, we've got our garage tomato Bananas Noir. It's hard to tell where one plant ends and another begins, but these are bananas. Oop, these are bananas. Those are bananas. I've just picked like our 5th one. This is our own cross. It was a pollinator did it for us. It was a Nanis Noir and some kind of unknown cherry, and it is delicious. So sweet. And as I mentioned, I'm not really big into sweet tomatoes normally. I like a little acidity. This one does not have a lot, but it's got the same looks, the beauty of a Nanis Noir in a smaller package, and you bite into it. It looks different on the inside than a Nanis Noir does. It looks kind of like a kiwi. It's, well, it really changes in color. It's sometimes there's like a deep pink blush on the bottom. Oh, it's so good. It's sweet. So that's our solid number 3, and we were very gifted to be able to have a pollinator gift that with us. We can't really take credit, but we've given away seeds to so many of you this year. I know my friend Cheryl had her first ripe ones the other day and had praises to sing about it. So I hope if you're growing it, you're enjoying it. I would love to hear what you think. And if you'd like seeds, I'm open for trading for sure for next year. So what else we got? Here we've got Rosella, which is a kind of a chocolatey cherry. I'm picking a lot of these. They get a bit darker than this. They're really tasty and early. My friend Dana, the Easton tomato girl, was talking about these last year, so we decided to grow them. It's been a nice cherry. We're growing quite a few cherries this year. And there's several. I'm going to do like a cherry. Well, I've already done the cherry taste off, but I have to kind of share my findings. So we've got Honey Drop, Wow Cherry, Sun Gold Cherry, and Tim's Taste of Paradise that were all supposed to be like Sun Gold. Did I already say Sun Gold? So all supposed to be similar to Sun Gold. But the Sun Gold is a hybrid and these are not hybrids. So we've got a lot of these yellow cherries that look exactly the same, except for Tim's Taste of Paradise. Man, this thing is tinier than anything I've ever seen. Tiny, like smaller than my pinky nail. It's got a lot of flavor. I'm not really sure what to think about it yet, but Wild Boar Farms does not tell you how small it is. It's a small tomato. So if you're expecting like a regular sized cherry that looks like Sun Gold, you are in for a surprise. Tim's Surprise Taste of Paradise. So anyway, that's Rosella, yummy tomato. This is Rosella Purple, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, is supposed to be the dwarf version of Cherokee Purple. Nothing ripe from it yet. We've got, what do we have? Oh, we've got a bunch of fruits. Oh, I see something blushing back there a little bit. Yeah, we've got stuff going on. Some of the dwarfs aren't doing all that great. I think they just want a bigger container. And that one I clearly needed to add more soil. What's with me? I don't know. Got a little busy. This one is called Chocolate Lightning Dwarf. Nothing ripe yet, but it's supposed to be fabulous. So excited for that. Lots of fruit on that for sure. This one we have had just recently, Chocolate Stripes. This is a cap-faced one. Normally looks like that baby. Well, that's the green baby. It's this really deep, it's kind of like Berkeley pink tie-dye, but even deeper. And the inside is just this deep, deep red. And it's a good solid. I think we gave it an 8. It was good. It was really good. So Chocolate Stripes. And that was another recommendation from Sean from Bounty Hunter Seeds. That's a good one. Here we've got Esmeralda Golosina, which is a green one ripe. As you can see, we've got some, I've seen a lot of people asking, it was on another message board, like how can you tell when a green one ripe is ready? I mentioned earlier Green Doctors, you really can't. They look the same, but this one you can, you're singing Uptown Funk. Funk you up. Oh yeah, I know, I always get that song in my head. Here you can kind of clearly see the difference between a non-ripe and a ripe green when ripe. Most of the time they turn a little bit of a yellowish color, but you can, even if they don't, you can always tell by a squeeze test. So we have not, I picked a few of these the other day, Esmeralda Golosina, have not tried it yet. It's supposed to be very sweet, very high on the brick scale. So we shall see. This is unfortunate. It's not doing so well. Orange Russolini, kind of a disappointment. Found out about this variety from Luke from M.I. Gardner, claims it is the sweetest tomato he's ever had. And you can look up the video. You can Google Orange Russolini. That video will come up. And you will see him just go crazy. He was given the seeds by somebody from Italy. It's actually a red tomato. It's not orange, but they call it Orange Russolini. And that was probably our first ripe tomato, was Orange Russolini. And it's just kind of okay. I don't know where the sweetness comes from, but alas, it seems to be breathing its last breath, not doing so well. And I take full responsibility for a lot of these. I cram so much in that diseases spread. So price you pay, but honestly, it's Orange Russolini. If it was a variety that we loved more, I would have isolated it and all that. This is Honey Drop. And I just did a huge harvest of these yesterday, and we still have lots. It's good. It's good. Would I say it's as good as Sun Gold? No. It's got a thicker skin. So it won't split as easily, but it does have a good flavor. And I was telling Rob last night, we were munching on them. You can tell when somebody's eating a honey drop, even when super ripe, because there's a crunch, you can hear it. But it's tasty. It's tasty. If you like Sun Gold, I like Sun Gold, don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to get Sun Gold trashers here. I like Coyote better. In fact, Rosella's pretty darn good. So Sun Gold's good. I don't know why people are just like thinking, you know, but some taste is subjective. So for me, Sun Gold I don't believe is the best cherry. It's very good though. It's very good. And Honey Drop, I'm not sure I would grow it again, but I sure am glad we are because we're getting so many cherries from it. And it's really, really yummy. Cheryl says coyote. Oh, hey Cheryl, coyote's awesome. I had an unfortunate thing with, I gave Cheryl coyote seeds. I give many people coyote seeds. Our coyote plant turns out to not be coyote. Our coyote crossed. Our coyotes tend to do that. We have an accidental cross that is now on an F3 that we're working on stabilizing. It turns red. It looks like coyote size-wise. Tastes really, really good. We call that Wile E sweet cherry, like coyote, Wile E coyote. And so we're growing this coyote, and we've always grown coyote, and boom, I'm telling Rob, it doesn't look like coyote. It's got a little antho at the top. It's a little, and then it's turning pink. Clearly another cross, and it's not Wile E sweet cherry. But again, it's delicious. So we've got another cross. I'm thinking, and I don't know. I'm not a, genetics person. Coyote is a big sprawling plant with lots of flowers. I'm guessing it might be really easy to cross that, and bagging blooms on coyote would be a little tough. So I don't know what a cross with a little bit of antho. We're thinking it could have been maybe Black Beauty we grew last year, or Black Strawberry, both of which we hated. We hated, but it's only got a real little touch of antho. It's still the same size as coyote and our Wile E sweet cherry. We're calling this one Rosy Coyote. I've saved seeds. I'm going to see if we can grow out another generation this season, because I'm definitely saving seeds from this one too. It's really delicious, but alas, our first year with no coyote. Wah, wah. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, Cheryl. It makes me really happy. All right, 53 minutes. All right, I'm doing well. What do we have here? Dwarf Hannah. Oop, no, that's just me. Turn around, camera. Here we go. Dwarf Hannah's Prize. Oh, we've tasted this one already, and it was good from what I remember. They kind of all start to blend together. This was like a red and orange stripe tomato. I think we gave it a 6 or 7. It was a good tomato. Nothing to write home about, but it was good. This one is Chicago. I keep getting like, my kind of town, Chicago is, but no, it's not Chicago, it's Chicago. And I believe these are supposed to be red. We have not had any ripe yet. Gave these out to a few people. It's supposed to be good. Interesting size and shape. This one is Dwarf Wild Fred, which have not grown. Thanks, Cheryl. Have not grown this one before. Gosh, Wild Fred, you sure don't have a whole lot of fruits on you, do you? You're healthy. I hear a lot about this one. Oh well. Oh, here's one, a little one coming. We shall see. I'm not giving up on you, Fred. Back here, I'm kind of ignoring because it looks like it's kind of done. This was Dwarf Saucy Mary. Oh no. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. I thought it was gone. I was going to replace it, but no, we've got another one coming. Dwarf Saucy Mary. So these were these really cool looking oblong green when ripe, kind of zebra stripes are about this big. I say oh no because it was really kind of bland, honestly. And I thought, oh, plant's done, but no, it's perking up and coming back to life. So, okay, I cannot kill a tomato plant. And it wasn't bad at all. Really cool looking, just bland. So sorry. This is our another Berkeley pink tie-dye, which isn't looking all that great. I don't know why. It probably just wants to sprawl and live, but we've gotten quite a few ripe ones from here. Took a great big one off the other day. See this one blushing. Can't have too many Berkeleys around. This one, oh, this one I think is done too. This is Red Dinnerly Dwarf, which we got, I think, only 2 fruits from. This was another just okay. but I'm seeing some fresh growth up there, so I don't know. I don't know if it's just okay. Do I let it continue or do I plant something else? Because I've got suckers waiting in the waiting in the wings, waiting to be planted. So we shall see. What do we have here? Dwarf Awesome. This one sounds, well, awesome. Nothing ripe from it yet, but some nice size. I also wonder if the soil makes a difference in the flavor. Yeah, I wonder too. I mean, we use Fox Farm Ocean Forest, which I would argue you can't get much better than that. But yeah, I think climate, soil, weather, I think it all makes a big difference, and again, is subjective. So I almost hate to give reviews because I don't want people to be like, well, Lauren said this one stunk. A lot of people love Black Beauty. They just do. Um, we tried a lot. It tasted very funky to us, and we wanted to like it because we got so many. It was so prolific, so healthy, all season long. We tried it many times throughout the season. It's just ugh. But I do this slow roasting of our overflow of tomatoes and with herbs and garlic and olive oil, slow roasted at 275 all day long in a roasting pan. It cooks down to like nothing. And any tomato is delicious. So even that OSU blue I mentioned is delicious. And Dancing with Smurfs is delicious with that. So yeah, so we're almost done, gang. Believe it or not. This is the Imposter Dark Queen, which we've had several of. Dark Queen is supposed to be, kind of look like Berkeley pink tie-dye. It's supposed to be a beefsteak that is striped, and they all have this shape, almost like a mini ox heart. And they're really pretty. We've got some inside. Oh, Kina doesn't like Black Beauty either. Can't get taste on it in my garden. Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's also those that don't like Brad's Atomic Grape, and Rob and I loved Brad's Atomic Grape. I mean, the skin's a little thick for us, but I felt the flavor was so complex. So it really just depends on the person, and again, those factors that we talked about, the weather, soil, climate, all of these factors, and then just our palates, what we like. We all like different things. If we all like the same thing, then we'd all be growing the same tomatoes. So I can only give you my perspective. So Dark Queen I got as a gift with purchase from a place, oh gosh, over a year ago. And I was excited to grow it because it sounded great, and it's clearly not Dark Queen. This is the one I was telling you about that I was curious, or to see if we would like it, if we did, what we would call it, but it's okay, it's not great. And then our last one is, what is this one? Sweet Scarlet Dwarf. Nothing ripe from that yet. I think it's just your standard red tomato. I actually have to be, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, I have to be really conscientious to grow red tomatoes. Are you guys the same? I have to make sure we've got a couple red ones because I tend to go with like the funky and the, of course, greens and all those other things. I have to make sure we're growing red tomatoes. So we've got a number of them this year. Paul Robeson I think is more of a darker one, but the Sweet Scarlet Dwarf and Dwarf Crimson something, and Soldaki, and that other one. Anyway, we've got plenty of reds, so had to make sure we do that. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. So, oh my gosh, we made it just an hour. I can show you quickly my cucamelons. I don't know if you guys like Mexican sweet or Mexican sour gherkins. My daughter, who doesn't live here, but she loves them. They're starting to come. They're little melons. A lot of people don't like these either. Rob and I eat salads every night, and I find them very refreshing and yummy in our salads. Nice crunch. So thank you guys for joining me for part 2. And then all we have left is the micros, which I'll do. I don't know if I'll do another live for that or film it. I don't know, but lots to say on the micros. So thank you guys for hanging in there with me for the hour, joining me live in the heat. I'm going to go have a drink of water. My tomato friends, thank you so much for all your support all the time. we meet through tomatoes, our love of tomatoes, and we form these lifelong friendships, and they're really special. And sharing this love and obsession with you all is fantastic. Let me again get the name of the new group I started for those of you that are joining us late, or it is in the group description, but it's Tomato Lovers. Let's go inside. Tomato Lovers Seed Sourcing Collective and Swap. Crimson Sock. I don't think it's that one. I think it's Dwarf Crimson Sunset. You might be right though, Cheryl. I forget. But then there was another one. I don't know. There's something like outer space. I don't know. I don't know. Got a heat stroke. Anyway, thank you guys again for joining. And again, set your calendars for my next live tomato talk with Jen, July 28th. And I'll keep you posted. If you enjoyed these live tours, please let me know. I can plan on doing more. Hopefully the quality of the video is better than last time. And I'll see you next time. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on, gang. Bye.